UFC Gamrot versus Salkilld ended a while ago, but my computer decided to die while I was on vacation. But here I am. We're going to run through all the fights and my reaction to it, because it was actually a pretty decent card for the Apex, and I ended up going 12-0 on predictions, so I was very excited. I was celebrating, you can believe it. We're going to get into this. It's a little bit different of a setup than I usually have here. But right away, actually no, because they added another fight to this card right beforehand, and I did not make another video for it. I did not make a prediction video for it, but I did put it in the description of my last video of the predictions, and it was Canuto versus Foro, which started the card off with a bang. These two girls had an amazing fight, and it was one of the best women fights that I've seen of the year. Foro looked amazing on the feet. Canuto looked amazing on the ground. But Foro ended up getting a lot of takedown, or a lot of defending a lot of takedowns. And Canuto just could not keep up with her on the feet, man. Foro was damaging her on the feet. So much damage was done. Foro clearly wins this fight by unanimous decision. And, yeah, great way to start off the card. We then get into what was supposed to be the first fight of this card. Miller versus Oliveira. And, by the way, I did predict Foro to win. You can look in the description. So I started off 1-0. Miller versus Oliveira. Round 2 rear naked choke from Juliana Miller. I said it was going to be a TKO early round 3. But Juliana Miller, as I expected, looked dominant everywhere on the feet, and eventually Oliveira went to the ground. Miller just chokes her out. Oliveira is not UFC level. She will be cut by next week, or by this week. There is no doubt about it. And we move on to the next fight, which was originally Miles Johns and Jessie Rojas. And of course, Jessie Rojas doesn't make it to the fight. So then they bring in a dude named Gianni Vasquez or something. His last name was definitely Vasquez. And Miles Johns puts him out cold. So Johns actually gets knocked down with a punch, an overhand throw in round 1 from this Vasquez fella that somehow clips the back of his head while Vasquez was in front of him on the feet. So it was a very awkward knockdown, but it was because it was the back of the head. It wasn't illegal, but it's just where it was. Maybe because Miles Johns is the little gnome of a fighter. But anyway, I did have him not as a lock here, but as just a better fighter against Jessie Rojas. And I thought the same thing with this Gianni Vasquez guy. He just sucks. And Miles Johns, after getting knocked down, gets up, and then all of a sudden, looping left hook to put Vasquez down, ground and pound. That was it. The next fight, so Miles Johns wins, round 1 KO. The next fight, Manoel Sousa versus, was it Richie Miranda? I think so. I think that was his first name. This was one of the closer fights on the card, and I knew it going in when I was breaking this down. I was saying in my prediction video, I had no idea who was going to win this. It was very hard for me to pick a guy. I know Miranda comes forward a lot, but I did say, as we see here, that the striking will be better from Sousa, the UFC experience will be better on Sousa, and the ability to inflict more damage, specifically with body shots from Manoel Sousa, which is what happened in this fight. Miranda absolutely won the first round, got a takedown, was threatening a rear naked choke on Manoel Sousa. It looked dangerous. He could have been out of there within a round. But when they were on the feet in round 1, you could clearly tell that Miranda was taking a lot of damaging shots from Sousa. And then round 2, Sousa is chewing up the leg of Miranda. And I think that played such a big part in this fight. Not to go all Joe Rogan, calf kicks changed the game. But it was a serious aspect of Manoel Sousa winning this fight. Amazing body shots again that crippled Miranda all the way back to the cage. Miranda somehow desperately shot a takedown after getting crippled by that body shot that made him last in the round 3. And once the third round started, the war continued, but Manoel just won this fight on damage and on aggressiveness, and that is not Miranda's game. He's the one that wants to press forward. So, close fight. I did call it. Pretty much called it. I said split decision and it ended up being a unanimous decision. So I'll take it. Amazing win for Sousa because it was a battle, and Miranda should absolutely have more fights in the UFC. But yeah, Damage was going to win that fight, I thought, and it did. So 4-0 so far. Then we move on. Louie Sutherland versus Montahna da Silva. And the regional film that I saw on Montahna, or Montahna, I think is how you pronounce it, I just liked him way better because he's a heavyweight who can finish, and Louie Sutherland is a heavyweight who can't finish. So that's exactly what happened. Louie Sutherland decided that he was going to grapple a dude who was way bigger than him, and immediately Montahna got a body lock on him, threw him down, got on I think he had mount, and then it turned into Louie Sutherland giving the back, and Montahna had a submission late round 1, and it wasn't even locked in. Sutherland tapped immediately, but regardless, there was no way you were getting the mountain of a man that Montahna da Silva is off of you. So, called that as well. I just thought he had good submissions, he could knock you out, and Louie Sutherland cannot do any of that, even though he's a heavyweight. So, very interesting. But Montahna, I'm excited to see what comes up for him in the future. The next fight was kind of crazy. Nurgozhay versus Lopes. Nurgozhay and Lopes were trading a bunch of low kicks in the first round here. You could tell Nurgozhay was way more powerful, had the better kicks, and it was chewing up the leg of Lopes, and Lopes was hitting his leg, but it wasn't doing anything. Lopes went for a takedown, nothing doing. And then Nurgozhay clips Lopes with an overhand that had a delayed reaction from Lopes, and he wobbles back, somehow works his way to the feet. I swear to God, he was out cold. He was seeing black. I have no idea how he got up to his feet, but falls forward into a takedown, may I add. I have no idea how Nurgozhay gets taken down from a dude who's unconscious. Very odd, very rare. We don't see that much. And but then he ends up getting up. There was no, control, no threatening position. Nurgozhay gets up, hits a spinning back fist, gets Lopes up against the cage, uppercut, left hook, done. Simple. Lopes does not look UFC level, man. I don't know. There's something missing to him. I don't know if he needs to go down in weight or something, but it ain't looking good for him. Nurgozhay looks somewhat better. But that was a hell of a fight. Interesting fight. I had late round 1 KO. Called it perfectly. It was 1 second left in the round 1. And Nurgozhay wins by KO. We move on to the next fight. Mr. Wiggle Jiggle himself. Steven Asplund. Dude, this dude's exciting. I love this guy. I don't care if he might not be a champion in the UFC. But this dude, this was my first lock of the card. It hit. He won by unanimous decision. I thought he was going to knock Guilherme Pat out. He almost did. Pretty back and forth in the first round. Some cage pushing. That was pretty boring. But Asplund was moving on the front foot the entire time. And I said this before in the predictions. Guilherme Pat wants a slow fight. He was not going to get it against Asplund. There was no way. However, so Guilherme Pat gets dropped, I believe, by a left hook right straight that Asplund hits. And ground and pound for the rest of the round, and Asplund almost gets him out. The next round was a little terrifying because a big shot by Guilherme Pat to start that knocks Asplund down. A couple more strong shots. And then Asplund knocks Pat down again, lets him up on the feet. A couple minutes later, Pat gets a huge knockdown. I mean, it was back and forth. This was an amazing round for fighting. And Herb Dean kept actually pushing him back to the center because he didn't like the cage pushing. So good on him. I'm sure he's still hated by everybody, but maybe he's getting back into their hearts a little bit. So good for Herb Dean. He's a winner in this as well. But going into the third round, it was 1-1. Steven Asplund just puts it on him. And when I say puts it on him, I mean he wasn't looking great, but he did have the pressure to win this fight. He had more shots to win this fight. And he was in more control in this fight. I think he also dropped Guilherme Pat with a head kick out of nowhere, which was, I didn't know Mr. Wiggle Jiggle was going to be able to get his leg up that high, to be quite honest. But he did, so good for him. And great to see, to be quite honest. I did not expect a head kick. We got a head kick. So clearly, Stephen Asplund 2-1, 29-28, unanimous decision. That's what it was. He wins, and the lock of the card hits. The next fight, talk about entertaining. Ty Miller. He's not quite one of my favorite fighters yet, but he might be. Because this dude, I know he just beat Billy Ray Goff, who was like, I don't know, it sounds like a washed up artist. But this dude, Ty Miller, Goff was pressing him immediately, trying to shoot for takedowns, couldn't get it. Ty Miller had great takedown defense. And anytime they were on the feet, Ty Miller, he's this lanky welterweight who throws like he's just like a short, stocky guy. He finds the target on these long-range shots every single time on Goff. It looked so fluid. It looked so technical with power. It was a beautiful thing to see. Jabs were amazing from Ty Miller. Let's see. One shot, I think, knocked Goff down in the first round. I mean, I keep wanting to say Jared Goff from the Rams, the QB from the Rams, but Ray Goff had nothing for Ty Miller on the feet. That's all you need to know about this fight. And he somehow was praying I swear to God, he was praying in the cage to please let him continue in this fight because Ty Miller just kept beating the absolute shit out of him. I have no idea how Goff survived to round 3. I have no idea why the corner allowed him to go into round 3 because as soon as round 3 starts, Ty Miller said, fuck it, and I'm going to just finish you. And that's what he did. He just cripples Goff against the cage with like a 6-punch combo. It was beautiful. I loved it. I love Ty Miller. He's a killer. He's an animal. I can't wait to see him next. I think somebody said to put him against, oh my God, Rahiki. I think that's the next fight for him. Sign me up, take the money, even though it's just Paramount subscription. But I can't wait. I can't wait for that. That's going to be an absolute banger of a fight. Ty Miller, second lock of the card hits. That was my only other lock outside of Asplund. And I had late round 2, but he gets round 3. Whatever. Next fight, Thainara. I'm not even going to talk about this too much. Thainara, better fighter in the women's division, strawweight division. Amanda Lemos did what she did where she makes it somewhat competitive but can't do anything, can't get the volume up, gets taken down a couple times. Thainara dominates outside of Lemos hitting her and wobbling her, and somehow Lemos doesn't finish her. So not the greatest look for Thainara for those two. I think it was halfway into the second round. But other than that, man, I'm looking at it now, 200 strikes to Lemos 68, and then 81-56 on significant strikes, plus 2 takedowns. It was clear as day. It was a unanimous decision. Thainara does look good, and I think she's facing, I think people want to see her against Fatima Klein, or Fatima Klein, whatever you want to say. I got Klein, because what I saw last time from Klein was something I've never seen in the women's division before. So, in any women's division. So, let's book that. Let's see how good Thainara does, because I think Klein might beat the absolute crap out of her and make her get another mohawk. We move on. Del Valle, I'm not even going to talk about this for too long because I consider it a funeral. Not a retirement. I consider it a funeral for Darren Elkins, the damage Elkins. Darren Elkins had no business being in this ring. The matchmakers decided that they were going to be very cruel and very abusive. And I would relate it to kings watching in Rome or wherever they were, like the royalty in Rome, watching peasants get eaten by tigers. Because what I witnessed Del Valle do to Darren Elkins was just disgraceful. It made me embarrassed to be a UFC fan, to support these matchmakers who put these great fights on. I mean, they just had to give him a killer at featherweight. As soon as this fight starts, Del Valle goes forward and hits him clean on the chin, and Darren Elkins goes out cold. That's it. Literally the first half minute of the fight. Couldn't believe it. Just absolute cruelty from the UFC. So, like I said, I'm not even going to talk about that for too much. I thought Del Valle was going to win by decision. I was an idiot, but still, we got it right. We moved on. This was a harder fight to call in the prediction video. Diego Ferreira versus Billy Quarantillo. I went back and forth on this fight. The checklist got this wrong. It had more head-to-heads going to Quarantillo. I had Diego Ferreira. And Diego Ferreira wins this fight, and it was clear as day, and it was a unanimous decision. And let me tell you something, Billy Q, please retire. Because if you're going to lose the first 2 rounds decisively, everybody knows you lost the first 2 rounds, and then you're going to get a takedown at towards the end of round 3, and then get up with your corner as if you just won the lottery, and you're jumping around the cage. I'm good. I don't want to see that at all. PFL needs fighters. Go ask them if they have openings, because I'm sure they do, and they will sign you in the heartbeat, and maybe you can become a champion at lightweight over there. Because, what's his name? Usman Nurmagomedov is coming to the UFC, I reckon. So, yeah, go over there, Billy Q. I don't want to see that again. That was horrible. I couldn't believe it. Diego Ferreira basically won this fight. I mean, I had him all 3 rounds, to be quite honest. He just looked way better on the feet. Billy Q takes way too much damage for a fighter, which is crazy. You know, let's take as much damage as possible. I don't want to hate on him too much, but still, yeah, go to PFL. Moved up in the lightweight division, could not hang with a 41-year-old lightweight, and I predicted that. I said he wouldn't be able to, and Ferreira was not the guy to come forward on, and he wasn't. So Ferreira wins by unanimous decision. I thought he was going to knock out Billy Q, but he did not look good off of that layoff. He did not at all. Next fight. Last fight. Boy, oh boy. Let me tell you something about Quillan Salkilld. He kills. He's the next champion. Maybe not the next one, but he's coming. And I hope, if it's not Topuria against Gigi, I hope it's Salkilld. I wanted Salkilld, or the winner of this fight, to face BSD. I no longer want that. I don't know who Salkild's going to face, because he won by a submission, rear naked choke, which was so slick. The first round of this fight, well, the only round of this fight, was Gamrot comes forward trying to blitz Salkilld, and he gets hit with a check left hook, and Gamrot immediately shoots for the takedown. Salkilld defends it. Gamrot gets no takedowns on him in the first round, and Salkilld eventually goes for his own takedown on Gamrot, which you don't see much. Dominates on the feet, dominates on the ground, and right before he got the rear naked choke, this is why I love the most. Right before he gets the rear naked choke, you can see him push up on Gamrot to act as if he's just going to let him up and just bully him on the feet some more. Gamrot completely exposes his neck, and Salkilld knew it was going to happen, immediately latches up on it. Absolute perfection. A technician everywhere, this kid is. I am a fan of Quillan Salkilld. That's all you need to know. And I had him winning this fight. It was very hard to pick him because I knew it was very close. But let me tell you something. If you had Salkilld at minus 115, minus whatever, they were like a pick 'em in this fight on the betting line. My God, was that a generous price? Because it looked like he should have been a minus 400 in there. I've never seen Gamrot worse or just dominated like that. Charles Oliveira had to take him to the second round. But Oliveira did good. Oliveira versus Salkilld would be a hell of a fight, by the way. Just saying. So, yeah. Great performance from Salkilld. I can't rave about it enough. Absolutely loved what I saw from him. I can't wait to see what comes up in the future. And other than that, man, give me some props, please, because this fight card was one of the most difficult fight cards that I could possibly break down. A lot of people, a lot of fights on this card, you had no idea how they were going to go. Call it luck, call it whatever. I think I called some of these fights pretty damn well. And now the record is up to 78% winning rate. 75-21. The checklist is 73-23 at 76% there. The locks are 33-8 because we only had 2 because this card I was not doing many locks, but 83% on that. So we're doing quite well over here, and we will be back for Dana White Contender Series. I'm going to be doing breakdowns on those fights, predictions, reactions, the works, and then we'll have Islam Makhachev versus that little annoying Ian Gary in Philadelphia. So we got a lot to look forward to this week. But yeah, hopefully you watch my predictions because we are heating up over here. So like, comment, and subscribe. I apologize for getting this video up late, but it's up. And I will see you tomorrow for the predictions of Dana White Contender Series. Like, comment, subscribe, please. See you all soon. Take it easy.